So in the last episode of the GTR restoration, you guys would have seen we actually removed the passenger side frame rail completely, and now we're basically ready to go ahead and get that whole area completely restored, looking brand new, including the frame rail pieces themselves, the floor repair that needs to be done. So sit back, relax. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Also just want to give a huge shout out to everyone who watched yesterday's bonus video. Finally released all of the information about the GTR, who I bought it from, how much I paid, the whole settlement thing. The support in the comments has been unreal. Really appreciate you guys. As you know, I've been absolutely hustling on this car in the background, and I have so much progress made on this thing. I really can't wait to share it all with you guys. But every Sunday you guys can expect a GTR restoration build video. Also, just a quick heads up to all my new viewers. I know the video that I posted yesterday might be a little bit confusing as to why I posted it or what the hell is even going on. Please go ahead and follow up with some previous content. I really didn't feel like making the yesterday's video like 45 minutes long, going over everything yet again. Just wanted to get all the information out that you guys have been asking for. But if you are interested and want to know about what's going on in this crazy situation, just feel free to go back. I'll have some videos in the description that you guys can go ahead and check up on and recap on as well. So appreciate you guys for, first of all, subscribing if you chose to do so. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked for this journey, so I hope you guys are too. But without further ado, let's go ahead and just hop right into it and get this GTR done. I'm sure a few guys out there will be curious as to what metal prep product I'm using on this thing. This is it. Gem, Rust Killer, and Metal Prep. So I'll have a link down for this in the description if you guys are interested. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and spray it on, kind of Scotch-Brite it in, just rub it in, and just dab off the excess and let it dry for 24 hours and you're good to go. So yeah, it's good stuff. Get our base, use it as a conditioner, future-proof it. Wow. If I were to tell you this wasn't a lot of work, I would for sure be lying. This was a lot of work. So went ahead and pretty much buzzed off all of the undercoating, all like the rubber, thick, just nasty OEM stuff that gets applied on these cars in like the most random, okay, I shouldn't say random. They just don't apply it everywhere. Obviously, you know, but you guys can see it. It's like this really thick, just nasty stuff. If you know, you know. So went ahead and just hit it with a 36 grit pad on my little 2-inch sanding disc and just buzzed all that off, and then went ahead and final sanded it with some 80 grit on a 3-inch pad, just because, well, the goal here isn't to actually take away metal, right? The goal here is just to clean it up and remove all of the surface just layers of whatever, paint and, you know, undercoating and so forth. So we got that done. All the areas where there was rust, you can kind of see like a bunch of these like little pitting marks, just you know, it's just what happens with rust. Obviously this we're gonna chop out and replace, but like this stuff here where there's just surface rust, even though there's a bit of pitting, it's really not that bad. I mean, it's still perfectly structural and thick, Sometimes it gets to a point where it gets like paper thin and you can kind of like push it in with your finger. At that point, yeah, you probably want to replace it, but that's totally fine. I'll show you guys the process of applying the rust coating on here, the conditioner, and how it works and the result. But I just wanted to show you guys kind of what I've been doing, just cleaning up the floor. All of this stuff, all these brackets and things like that underneath are all gonna get removed. So I didn't go ahead and sand that area as of now. I will do that in the future once I get all that off, clean it up, put it back on, then we'll go ahead and work on that. But I'm gonna go ahead now and just work on this upper portion. I never did it, even though I painted this, and you can see all this for those that are new or just haven't heard me say, this is all getting replaced. This is horrible. This repair, I don't know what I was thinking. I think it was just like a temporary thing, and then I was eventually gonna go ahead and get replacement rockers when I had the budget, just because I want to drive it, utilize the car, and just get it back on the road without having a huge hole in the floor. But now I have replacement rockers completely, so this is all gonna get remade. I'm gonna remake the floor all like how it was from factory, so don't worry about that. I don't like looking at that, it's an eyesore, but we're gonna go ahead and clean the floor up on this side and get it looking clean and hit it with some rust converter. Oh, dang, okay, well, many hours have passed. It is the next day. Can't tell. It's like a casino in here. No windows, you have no idea what time it is. You're just out here, it's always the same lighting. It's weird. But I've pretty much got it to where I'm happy. 99% of everything is removed. Just went straight down to bare metal. Some of you guys may be wondering, why did I go ahead and remove like that factory kind of galvanized coat that comes on these chassis, like that green, like this green kind of coloring coating. I actually noticed, I was gonna leave it, but I found out that a couple spots that I had ground through it, you can't see on top, but once you grind away that surface, there was a little bit of like just signs of rust starting, like kind of spider crack looking things. And just kind of like pinhole pieces of rust, not pinholes, but like, you know, just little circles of rust building underneath there. So I was like, wow, okay, here we are. We might as well just go ahead and just take it all down to bare metal. So I just worked on like the center belly of the car, of course. Now I'm gonna go ahead and apply my rust kind of metal prep stuff here, and either you can go ahead and just spray it on or use a brush and brush it on. Let it dry and kind of clean up the residue, but I'll just show you guys how I do it, and it works out pretty well. Okay guys, so finally, actually, funny enough, actually paid somebody to sandblast these rails for me. I need to get myself a cabinet set up or something like that, but yeah, I actually forgot to remove this transmission mount that was actually spot welded on the inside here, so unfortunately, as you guys are seeing now, it was pretty rusty under there. That's pretty much where all of it was hiding, and you can see some of the remains there. But got ahead and went ahead and removed it, cleaned it all up nicely with the sandblaster. Wasn't able to get 100% of everything out of there. You guys can kind of see a little bit of the black residue there. It's just kind of slight remnants. All the scaling is off, so it's just kind of like minor pitting in there. This stuff really just kind of exaggerates and really brings everything to light. Just shows you what's there that you may have missed, and just kind of takes care of it. So, but yeah, again, so we applied it, treated everything. You guys can see like the gray finish that it gives. Same with the floor. I think I showed you guys where we were with that. But yeah, these came out good. Sandblasted these myself, and like I said, you know, it turned out good. So we're gonna go ahead and everything is treated, all good to go. I'm actually now at a point where I'm gonna start repairing this floor right here. You guys can see clearly have a couple holes. Need to address those. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a template and make up a new piece and chop this out and weld in our new piece. So should be sweet. Let's get to it.
I'm out. Pace myself because I do not want to end up on the spot. They're a little bit worried. Yeah, I mean, it kind of was reminiscent of this Capsule style guard. Wraps around there. Stop doing this. For paying bills and wise usage of the money. She is way more. First off, we have to take some of the mats out of that. Sure. Yeah, the mat because of the full out my face and just make it a more and more concerned.
So with the floor patch completed and looking great, it's now time to throw some protection on our treated metal floor. The blue tape is covering up all the areas where copper weld-through primer will be applied for a clean, corrosion-resistant weld. I decided to apply the direct-to-metal 2K epoxy with a brush to keep the fumes down and overspray out of the garage, but don't recommend it for a clean finish. Luckily, I'll be sanding most of this all down and reapplying a couple coats when it's all said and done. While I wait for the primer to cure, I swing my attention to the frame rail components. After sandblast and some copper primer, the trans mount is looking new again, along with its support bracket. They fit up back in place nicely and get welded back up with the factory points. Parts of the frame rails themselves need a repair, so chopped out the tired metal and welded in some patches. You may remember the state of this area from the previous video. Good as new. With the rails blasted and prepped, they're ready for some primer. More 2K epoxy gets sprayed on the inside of the rails for ultimate rust protection, and we save some clean metal for the copper primer. With the primer now dry on the floor of the car, we can peel off the tape and reveal our metal so we can apply the copper weld-through primer. think I made a bit of progress since the last time I've checked in with you guys. Clearly, we are pretty much ready to go ahead and get the frame rails back on, which I gotta say I'm pretty excited about. So I've got this piece, which is I guess the transmission mount, but I got this thing in place. I actually just drilled two more so like locator holes. I just drilled straight through the panel as opposed to just kind of biting through one sheet, and it's gonna allow me to just make sure it's exactly in the right spot. You know, with spot welds, it's pretty easy to almost put it back exactly where it was, just because you have all those kind of imprints of where you drilled. You can kind of line things up based off that. But having two kind of locating points, it never hurts. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these things kind of tacked up. Actually, next thing I'm gonna just start getting the frame rail in place as well. And yeah, man, just continue on making some progress. I really think this repair down here came out really well. I also want to say sorry about this chaos. Had to move some things around the house. My mom's actually visiting back up from New York, so had to turn the GTR parts room into a guest room. So this is kind of what I'm working with here. Don't mind it. It's just half my car. Don't worry about it. Something like that. This is gonna go back up here like that. Bang, bang. All right, let's start welding. All right, well, we're looking pretty good. Went ahead and buzzed down all my welds with some 36 grit to start, and then just cleaned them up a little bit with some 220. Some spots you guys can see, welder here at the house is just, the power is just so inconsistent. It has zero issues at the shop when it's plugged in, but here sometimes it has the power setting that you desire, then it's about half, and then it's back to normal, so it's just kind of finicky sometimes. So I'm left with a few spots that I just need to go back over and toss a few more spot welds just to kind of fill them back up, you guys can see. But most of them, they cleaned up pretty well. Pretty happy about it. So I'm gonna go ahead now and just fill up the rest of my gaps. I need to get my belt sander over here and clean up some of the spots I can't get to, and from there we will be looking pretty dang good. So I'm gonna keep on keeping on. But yeah, frame rails are pretty much back on. Well, I guess two of them are pretty much back on.